Welcome to T4G Sports. How y'all doing today? Today, we're going to talk about the biggest recruiting mistake in all of the Solarverse. This is a mistake that there's probably a lot of people doing out there. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't do this mistake, you will be successful. You'll be better than almost everyone in your league, and this is not something you have to continue forever, but this is something that you should rely on in the beginning of almost all of your dynasties, depending on what level of program they actually are. Now, with that being said, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, click the notification bell, and don't just play the game, own the game. So by far, the number one biggest recruiting mistake of all is scouting past setting up your recruiting board. Quite simply put, you're just not going to be as effective for so many different reasons. I mean, everyone is taught to just start scouting and scouting and scouting and scouting. But let me tell you, scouting players gives you no power. It does not make the player more interested in you whatsoever. So I scout 5-star guys, and then I don't scout after my first week, even if you're up to a 4-star program. If you're a 4-star program and you're an 85 overall, you're not even really that good. I've been a 94 overall and been a 2.5-star program, okay? And the way that I did that was by not scouting, because I'm using more of my hours to go after power and actually recruit them rather than scout them. Okay, because if you are scouting them, what you're doing is you are limiting the amount of power that you have per week. So all the rebuilds where you see us get these top recruiting classes and crush it, a lot of times we don't over scout these players. Okay, so after the first week of setting up your recruiting board, scouting is a dangerous thing to do because you want to play the odds. Some people will tell you, oh, well, it's too big of a risk, right? What if they're bad? Think of it. Even if 30% of all 4-stars are bust, 30% of all 4-stars are bust, okay, that's a great percentage. Any gambler out there, and I'm not recommending you become a gambler, but I'm telling you, if anyone out there, if they had odds where 70% of it was a success, if they'd get a return on their investment, anybody would take those odds. So all of the ones where we're number one on people's, we're a top 5 class, we're top 2 class in recruiting, we used power over scouting. Because if you look at some of these wide receivers like Sharp, prime example here. If you try to scout him and you're a 3-star program with 500, 600 hours, however many hours you have at a 3-star, I forget, but it's like 600 hours around there. If you try to scout all these guys while I'm at a 350 hours a week and I'm just recruiting them, you'll go, oh man, I found out this guy's a gem, but then all of a sudden you get cut out of his top 8 that quick. You're no longer a competition to me. Then on top of it, if you do get into his top 8 and you're a couple weeks behind because you were scouting him and you don't have the hours to actually put into recruiting him, then after 2 weeks, I'm going to be number 1 on his board, and I'm going to turn around and offer him a scholarship, get a chance at an insta-commit. Then I'm going to be able to also schedule him a visit faster than you, and I'm going to be able to put him and get a second chance at an insta-commit because I'm going to do complimentary visits on top of that. And then I'm going to hard sell and soft sell my ass off. And at the end of it all, you're going to be probably pulling out because you're going to go, well, Jesus, I wasn't able to compete with that 1-star program because they went right out of the gate and got super aggressive. You need to be aggressive, okay, to change a program, period. If you try to play with the big dogs and do what the big dogs are doing when it comes to the 5-star programs, and you're trying to scout everyone doing that, that's not going to turn out well for you. You're going to have to go the 3-star gem method. Okay, and that could be a good method, sure, but that's a stressful method. That is a very stressful method. I'm going to take my chances, okay, because I don't have the hours. I don't have the manpower that the other guys have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get super aggressive and go after these guys. I'm going to go after 5-stars right away, even as a 1-star program. And then what I'm going to do from there is I'm going to just offer 4-stars and not scout the hell out of them. I'll offer 3-stars and not scout the hell out of them. And I'll start scouting when my team becomes good. As simple as that. In the Charlotte rebuild or the Kent State rebuild, when our team is actually a higher overall, that's when I'll start scouting, because I know that I'm like, hey, I only need 8 guys really this year. The rest of them are just padded on guys. So those 8 guys, I'm going to really scout. I'm going to make sure that they're good, right? So it's all situational, but we were the first ones to come out and tell you guys to not scout because everyone is taught to just scout, and there's no power in scouting. I will take my chances because what do I know as well? Well, if it's a wide receiver and let's say this guy's sharp, I'm going after him, and this guy is a broken gent, he's not good. He's a bust technically, and he's a 68 overall. I can move him to halfback. He's a route runner, his tendency, his archetype, and I'll move him to a halfback and his overall probably go to a 74 to a 76. Is he still a bust? No. So you need to be thinking about every single avenue, but by far the biggest mistake that people are making is they are scouting way too much in the beginning of their dynasties. Towards the end, of course you should scout. Of course, I scout. But I do it when it's appropriate and when I have the power to scout. If you don't have the power, don't try and go mano-a-mano against teams that are going to crush you. You need to be ahead, you need to be aggressive, and you need to just land these guys at will and then figure out from there, are they good or not? And where can you place them to where you could get the most maximum growth for that individual player, which is going to give you the most maximum growth for your team.